Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
Not much, not much. We are at it again. Two live streams in 1 week, huh?
That's crazy. We haven't did that in a long time.
I know it. I know it. Hey, we got Amanda tuning in already. Boy, she was like right on it. Welcome, Amanda. Mandy.
Nice.
Is that Mandy?
No, that's Amanda Wilson is Confess.
Confess. Okay, that's right. I get the names mixed up sometimes. So, welcome to the show. We are doing fantastic. And just for people who are tuning in, and we'll remind you, if you are tuning in from Facebook, in order for us to see your name on the screen, in the description, you have to give us permission to show your name on the screen. But you can still chat. You can ask us questions. We'll be checking the chat every once in a while.
And it's popping up on the screen, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I can see we got a few. We've got Confess is here. Mom's in the house. What's up, Marcella? I see you. Yeah. And so yeah, we have a few people who are. I think it's probably the first time they've actually even heard us on the air doing anything at all. So this will be entertaining for them and entertaining for me because we're both pretty funny guys, you know.
I'm funny. I'm funny looking. So
You're funny looking. I'm funny. Who's more funny looking, than you or me?
it's got to be you because you passed it down. So
Okay.
you had funny looking to give away. So
second generation funniness, funny looks.
yes.
Hey, what's up, Begstar? So we're streaming live to Facebook, we're streaming live to YouTube, and we're streaming live to my personal page. We also are streaming live on our radio station, All Around Hits on TTT Radio Network. So there's lots of ways that people can tune in and listen in. So
Yes.
and Pierre, you got the radio station open over there, right?
Yep. The radio station is open.
You got the mic on over there so they can hear us over there too?
Yep, they can hear us over there. It's
All
coming
right.
out. And I got the chat open. Confess is also in the All Around Hits chat.
Yeah. So people who are tuning in, if you were on the app earlier today, there was some craziness going on in the app over there.
I don't know what was going on, but somebody said, I think it was Confess. Somebody Slink. Somebody said they don't know what they would do with that many DNAs.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a lot of me in there, man.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, you know, both Pierre and I, we love a challenge. So, you know, you throw something at us that's weird, and we won't get much sleep trying to figure it out, and we will definitely figure that out. So,
big shout to Gabby, one of my followers from the beginning from TikTok.
Hey, what's up, Gabby? Thanks for stopping by, peeking in. We appreciate you being here. We're just kind of waiting just a couple of minutes to make sure we get as many people here as we can get before we get started. We're not going to wait for all night because people can go back and look at the video after the fact and see everything. So
yeah. So what's the weather like where you're at?
Weather like, oh, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. Today it was like sunny, 75 degrees out. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
Oh my goodness. It snowed here 2 days ago. We got like 4 to 6 inches.
I know.
And then it's 50 degrees today and it's all gone and rainy.
I know. And I'm just rubbing it in basically. So, but anyways, we do have a lot of things to talk about. We're not going to go super long here tonight. We're going to go, we don't have a time limit, but we know that we want to keep it under a certain amount of time because we realize people are busy and they're granting us the gift of participating with us and hearing what we have to talk about. So
Jazzy Cat is in here.
Hey, Jazzy Cat. What's up, Jazzy?
There she is. She just, I thought she linked her picture. If you guys click the link in the description, like before you click the video, there's a link in there. If you click that link, it will, and you follow directions, you will be able to link your profile picture so it pops up like Confesses over here.
Right.
Screen.
Yeah.
Mallory is in here. What's up, Mallory? She does
Hey, Mallory.
the trending topics on the Wake and Bake Mix every morning.
Aha. So at some point, we'll probably stop saying hello to everybody, but
Right.
we just started the show. It's only been a couple of minutes here, and you're here because you are interested in what in the world is this story between Pierre DJ DNA and me, DJ Professor Lee. What in the world? What happened?
Right. Like when you
And
met your dad, what do you mean?
what do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah. And yeah, so we wanted to talk to people about that and let them know that it is a thing. If you well, we're going to get into it. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but full disclosure, everybody. I just want everybody to know, just in case you were wondering, Pierre and I are father and son. Okay, so I think that probably deserves some kind of round of applause or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, maybe a drum roll or something. Yeah. So we're father and son, and how we became father and son in our lives is the topic of this, because we're living in a decade where technology is just amazing. So technology in 2020, well, how long ago was it that you and I met?
It had to be like 2018.
So this summer it'll be like 5 years,
It
right?
seems
So
so much longer than that.
if we round it up, it'll be like 5 long years. Yeah. Wow. 2018. Man. So, one of the questions that people may have, or they may wonder, is like how this journey even got started. I mean, before we even get into you and I, like, how did you even get started on the journey of researching your history and DNA and all of that stuff?
Well, so first of all, my mom, I knew that I was the last male Rose. My name, my last name is Rose, and I was the last one of our family, you know what I mean, to be able to carry on the name. And that's on my mother's side. I have my mother's last name, so I've always wondered about my father's side, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there was always some mystery there. And I always wondered, you know what I mean? Kids growing up, kids would ask me, like, how come you have a brother, but how come your last name is different?
Right.
And so I've always, at a young age, had questions. And my mom, she gave me the heads up. Probably, maybe if we met 5 years ago, my mom probably we talked about it maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was always something that I was trying to do, you know what I mean? Just doing my own homework, but that didn't work.
Right. Yeah. Well, for me, I've been doing ancestry research for a long time. Both myself, my brother Ron, and my wife Ginger also has done it on her side of the family. Was always looking for connections to my family history.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. To family history, and so. On Ancestry, I don't know if people are aware of this, but it's not just Ancestry. There are also other apps out there that do the same thing, where they, you can go in and if you know the name of a person, you can go in and you can find out when they were born and things like that. And, that whole thing. And then they came up with a new thing, this DNA thing, where you spit into a tube and then they'll go back and they'll see where you actually came from, for anybody, European, African, whatever. And I thought, well, why not? We were told that we had Indian blood in us, and
Right. And that's everybody. I feel like that's everybody, right?
yeah, people used to say, "You have Indian blood?" I said, "Yeah," and they said, "What tribe?" And I used to say, "Blackfoot," because I
You gotta
didn't
get a
know.
pedicure. You gotta get a pedicure.
I didn't know. And then through doing my research, there's a tribe of Indians called the Lumbee Indians down here in North Carolina. And the patriarch of the Lumbee tribe, his last name is Lowry. That's my last name.
Okay.
And so that kind of got me thinking. And so we kept looking. And then I got my DNA back, and it says, yes, that's right. You come from your family comes from the Ivory Coast of Africa, and Guyana and all that stuff. And you have 20% this, 15% that, 2% this, and the other thing. And I thought, okay, well, that's good. But then that was pretty much it, right?
Right.
And then in 2018,
my wife and kids for Father's Day got me an Ancestry DNA kit. And because 10 years ago, I found out that maybe the person who I called my dad may not have been my dad. There wasn't any certainty, you know what I mean? But my wife and kids got me an Ancestry DNA kit, and I spit in that tube.
right.
You
Did
know,
did you brush your teeth before you spit in that tube, son?
they said I was part Blackfoot, so
Okay.
no. But
Yeah.
so 2018 is when I did mine. You joined Ancestry way before 2018.
Yeah. Probably 5 years before that, maybe.
I thought it was even more than that.
Could be more than that.
Yeah.
So then, how long after you did that did you actually get some kind of a notification? And what happened? I mean, did somebody call you on the phone or
so like, hey, I think you might want to check out this guy. I think he's your daddy. No, but no, after you spit in the tube, I was tracking online. You get like progress reports of what's going on, and the results. You could see when they're submitted. You could see when they're being analyzed, and then you see when the results are in. Is that where we're at? What happened when the results came in? Right. At the time when the results came in, my mom and stepdad were actually staying with us, and my mom knew that I did this whole thing, and she knew that I was waiting for the results. So the results come in, and I go into her room, and I'm like, Mom, the results are in. And she was like, okay, all right, so what's going on? And I'm like, I didn't really know what I was looking at. For those of you that ever done Ancestry before, there's a couple pages, there's a couple things that you can do on this site. You can see your genealogy, where you came from. You can see who you're related to. You can see traits. So I started looking through, where I was from. You just said you were on the coast of Ghana, the Ivory Coast. I had all those. I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. And I didn't really know what I was looking at. And then I selected the section where it said family members, like who you're related to. And at the very top, it says we have a match. So it either said that I'm your father or you're my father.
Right.
And I'm like, man, do I got a kid out there?
Right.
So I see it, and I'm like, Mom, my dad is on here. And she was like, what? Your dad is on here? She's like, what's the name? And your name on there was your real name, like your government name.
My government issue name.
Yeah, so but it did say E. Lee. It said E. Lee. So I'm like, E. Lee. I tell her it says E. Lee, and she's like, I don't know what that is. And then my stepdad was like, Lee, Lee, and she was like, Lee, is there a picture? And I said, yeah, there's a picture. And my camera went out.
Okay, that's all right.
I might just have to switch to my FaceTime.
That's all right. Well, because we can still hear you.
It's all good.
Yeah. So so that was a shocker, right? So they actually knew who you were talking about, and of course for me,
I have music coming out somewhere, and I don't know where it's coming from.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea where it's coming from.
Okay. So for me, what happened with me is I had been looking mostly for history on my father's side, because on my mother's side of the family, we have family history all the way back to the first two slaves who were married before the Civil War. And one of my cousins, he had done a lot of research, came up with a little booklet. And so we can actually go back and we could trace all the way back to those first two slaves. But on my father's side, no one had ever done that. And so my brother and I, we thought it would be interesting for us to do that on the Lowry side. And as we started doing the research, we were discovering a lot of things that we simply didn't know. And I started getting matched up with people who were my first cousins that I'd never met before.
Yes.
Some were like fifth cousins, sixth cousins. And, these aren't necessarily people you really want to go and hang out with because you don't know who they are.
Right.
But I ended up meeting on through Ancestry. And by the way, they keep everything pretty tight and pretty private. It's not like if you do this, all of a sudden you're going to be getting inundated from all these strangers. Everything is done through Ancestry. There's no way for a person to contact you outside of that unless you arrange it. So this lady actually said, oh, wow, are you related to this, and this person? I said, yeah, we have the same uncle or whatever it is. She said in 1971, I actually went to a Lowry family reunion, and I actually have a copy of the flyer. I said, you're kidding. She sent it to me, and it broke it down like you wouldn't believe, right? So through that, I discovered that this is something new. I don't know if I told you this, Pierre, but through that, I discovered that my grandparents were not really my grandparents. I don't know if, my grandparents were not really my grandparents. It turns out the people I thought were my grandparents were really my aunt and uncle.
Okay.
Yep. And what had happened is my father's mother died when he was like 4 years old. I didn't, they may have told me those things, but when you're kids, I think I remember when I was 13 years old, my grandmother said, by the way, she said, I want to talk to you. And she said, in so many words, she said, I'm your aunt. I'm not your grandmother. I raised your father and his brother. I remember her having that conversation with me. And I think at the end of her saying what she had to say, I said to her, yeah, but you're still my grandmother, right?
Right. You're always going to be my grandma.
Yeah. She said, I'm still your grandmother. And I said, okay, that was all I was worried about,
Right.
And so I forgot where I was here. Oh, okay. So I won't get into that. That's a whole nother video about who those people were and all of that kind of stuff.
So my camera ended up crashing and my phone started playing music. That's where the music was coming from. But just to jump back just a little bit, because when my stepdad said Lee, I showed them the picture that you had on your profile on Ancestry. And it was like, yeah, that's Lee. I'm like, do you know him? Right. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I think I found my dad. This is my dad right here.
Right.
So, there was a lot of emotion there after that.
Yeah. Well, then go ahead.
No. Where we at? So,
well, that I have it. I wrote down the notes here because that was a major moment in history. When you reached out to me in July of that year, right?
Right.
And I had just gotten off of Ancestry. Anybody who's ever done Ancestry, you know that it's a lot of work. It gets tedious after a while, and once you're on, it's hard to get off because you start finding all this interesting stuff, and then you get like, oh man, I gotta stop this. So I had just gotten off, and like I said, Ancestry doesn't bug you with like, oh, you got new messages, you better go in and check. It doesn't do any of that stuff.
Right.
So I wasn't planning on going back on for maybe another 3 months. And you had just gone on after I got off and sent me a message, and I didn't reach out to you. I didn't respond back.
Yes. Yes. So when I found out who you were, that's when the emotions started coming. And it's like, am I cool with a name? Am I cool with knowing his name? Am I cool with seeing a picture? Do I want to send a message to him and not get an answer back? Do I want to send a message, and am I ready for the rejection of him being like, hey man, I don't want to do this, or all of that? And then I sent a message. Technically, I didn't even send the message. My wife wrote the message because I was all over the place. Big shout out to my wife, Alicia. I know she's in the chat right now too. But she wrote a message, just very very neutral, I think. You know, definitely didn't want to bombard you and be like, hey, I'm your son. Where you at?
Right. Right.
It was literally just like, you know, hey, this is I just joined, and this is what it says we are. We say we match pretty high. If this is the case, then you know, I'd like to just know some medical stuff for my children.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I mean, that was perfectly legit.
Right.
But I didn't respond. And so you're like,
I didn't hear a message for about a week. I didn't hear anything. I'm just like, whatever, man.
I was just on, man. It's like, I ain't got time for this, you know?
So apparently you reconnected on Facebook after years. You and my mom crossed profiles.
Your mom and I became friends on Facebook.
Right.
Probably 5 years before that.
Okay.
Yep. Now we knew each other. So this is just a little back history, because they're always wondering like, well, yeah, but how could this all happen? I mean, how come you didn't know about it and all this stuff? Your mom and I were like schoolmates. We were friends like way, way back. I think like middle school, high school, and we used to hang out. All of us, there was a group of us, used to hang out. We would play hooky, we would do things, and we just had a good time. And we kind of lost touch with each other over the years. This was after high school and everything.
Right.
And then I think I had gotten married. Had gotten married, and then I had gone through a divorce, and then I had a business that I was running, and then one day I just happened to be downtown, and she saw me, I saw her, and said, hey, how you doing? How you doing? What's life like? I was like, hey, you want to grab something to eat? We grabbed something to eat. And we just kind of got hooked up together and just started talking about old times. And one thing led to another without getting into all the details. I was going through some things. Your mom was going through some things. And I don't think your mom knew exactly what had happened at that time, right, because everybody was just having fun. And
I'm an 80s baby.
So when people are asking the question, well, how could you not know, or how could your mom not know, is because it just wasn't, she didn't know that I was the father. She thought the father was the person that she actually married. You know, right. Am I correct on that?
Right. Or she was with, yes.
Was with at the time. And
or right before. It's just
right. And so that's kind of how life went on, right? And the thing is, we lived in the same town. We were in the same town.
Right.
You know, we knew a lot of the same people that, you know, and, you know, one thing, this is kind of off topic here, but people often want to know, are there any similarities? I mean, like, how are you guys convinced that you are each other's relatives? The first thing I'll tell people when they watch this, we'll talk about similarities in a minute.
Right.
But when your mom reached out to me and said, hey, you know, I don't know anything about this ancestry thing, but my son, he got one of these kits for his birthday or Father's Day, and it says that you might be his father. I don't know. We want to respect your privacy. He just wants to know that you're alive and that you received it. We're not asking for anything. And I was like blown away. I mean, after this was through Messenger on Facebook. The first thing I did was I got up off the floor and I called my wife and I said, "Honey, I got to tell you something." Right. Oh yeah, and her first question was, "Well, how old is he?"
Right, exactly. And that was one of the things with me. It was like, yo, like if he was married at the time and it was something like he might not want to be dealing with me. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Right.
want to ruin what he got going on, but luckily that wasn't the case.
Yeah. So that prompted me to go back onto Ancestry. And I went on to Ancestry. And the first thing that popped on my screen, it says, "We have a new match. We have a new match." And it says, and then I opened up and it says, like what you saw, it says the new match is it said 99% match that this person is either a parent or a child. 99%. I mean, tell me, anybody who's watching this right now, listening to this, where in the world can you go and there's 99%,
Besides Maury.
Right. Somebody says, "My daughter and I have almost the same story."
That's Bill, the DJ BMC.
Oh, that's right. DJ BMC. Yeah. Click the link in the description there and we can see your name on the screen.
Your profile picture, yeah.
You can see your profile screen. So anyways, I thought, man, I've hit the jackpot. I'm going to be rich because I'm suing somebody. Right.
My daddy back.
But anyways, we did pursue it. And what did I tell you in the very beginning when we started this whole relationship? What did I say? This was one of the first things, one of our first conversations. And I want to see how much you remember, how much you were listening.
You said there is no book for these type of things, that we just got to take it slow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Take it slow. There's not a book. Nobody, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. There's no handbook. There's no manual for this,
Right.
And I said, the reality of it is you might not like me.
Right.
I might not like you. Maybe the best that comes out of this is that we know each other exists and we,
hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? We go on with our lives and, and that's it. Somebody said they found their half brother the same way.
That's DJ BMC again.
You see, and one of by the way, for those who were wondering, like how old Pierre was born 5 years before I met my wife, just so you know, because people were yeah,
very close.
But you know what a lot of people say to me, especially ladies, they'll say, "Oh, that could only happen to guys. Guys, you might have other kids out there, and it would never happen to a woman." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean it would never happen to a woman?" "Well, I would know. I said, "No, you could." People had a lot of skeletons in their closet over the years.
Listen,
you may have relatives that you had no idea.
People have asked me, like, are you upset with your mom at all? And no, never. I would never be, because for one, I'm an adult and I know how life gets. And secondly, she was raising two kids at the time on her own and not in the best relationship. So anything that she don't remember from that time, I would never blame her, ever. So.
Exactly. So anyways, let's get back to the similarities.
Yeah. So okay. First of all,
is anybody looking at this?
We're both bald.
We're both wearing glasses.
We both got glasses. We're both bald.
We can both grow facial hair.
My beard is going to be gray very soon.
Very soon. Yep.
Very soon. It's lightening up every day.
We both have a round head. Both have a round head.
Yes.
You're lactose intolerant?
I am lactose intolerant. My homegirl Tabron Fields is in the building. Tabron, I absolutely love Tabron. Thanks for joining.
Yep.
But yeah, similarities between me and my dad. If you guys are just jumping in here, we're not going to backtrack too far, but I'm DJ DNA. This is my dad, DJ Professor Lee. And, we met on Ancestry DNA 5 years ago. My wife is saying similarities. We have the same mannerisms, but one of the biggest similarities that we have is when we met, I was DJing for almost 15 years. And when I met you, you had been DJing my whole life.
Yep.
Wild, man.
That is
Wild.
wild. But
Absolutely.
wait, there's more.
This-
There's more, right?
yes.
Where did you start DJing?
Oh, wait. Are you saying the why?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's where I started DJing.
I started with the why. The why actually got me started DJing. Yes.
Yep.
1000%.
I mean, when I say I started DJing at the Y, I was in the AV club at school and middle school, and that kind of led me to get a gig at the YMCA, DJing the high school Friday night dances with other people, and then I was like 13 years old DJing there.
Wow.
So that was my first live gig as a DJ at the YMCA, local YMCA.
So I don't think I've ever said this, but I used to perform, right? And I still write, I still make music, I still produce. But after I decided that I didn't want to like go out and perform and be an artist and chase that career anymore, I decided that I'm like, you know what? I love music. I gotta be able to do something. I'm gonna DJ. At the time, the Y was looking for like some sort of music class to do, and I'm like, hey, I can DJ. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And they were willing. So big shout to the Y. They were willing to invest in me and buy the equipment to be able to get me started. And I literally learned on the Y's equipment.
Yeah. Somebody said, yeah, big old round heads.
That's Brandon. That's Brandon the GOAT right there. What's up, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm proud of it, Brandon.
For real. For real.
But, yeah. And
Other
how many
similarities, right?
How many daughters you have?
I have two daughters and a stepdaughter. I have 3 girls, but
3 girls, right. Yeah. And
I have daughters that you have.
I have 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters. And I don't think I have another one. So
all I'm saying is we're talking about similarities, right?
Yeah.
You got 2 daughters and a son.
You have skinny ankles?
I do have skinny ankles. All I know is that when I'm in my 50s, I better not get a call on Ancestry. History really repeating itself.
Alicia has a sense of humor, but I think it can kind of wear out pretty soon. So
what's up, Eliza?
Any other similarities? Our love of music, as somebody mentioned, that our love of music was one thing.
Ask Alicia. Alicia's actually in the chat. Alicia, is there anything you want to add to this?
Well, she had said mannerisms.
Our mannerisms and our sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said.
Yeah.
Mallory said sense of humor. Yeah. Can you think of any more? I mean, there are a bunch of little stuff.
I mean, there are things that I, as your father, Luke, I'm your father, right. I can say that I can see similarities in you when I was your age. You have a thirst for knowledge. I can say that. You soak up information like a sponge. If it's anywhere remotely related to things that you're interested in, you take it in like big time. You're all in, and so that's similar. I wouldn't say either of us are OCD people, but we really appreciate and love perfection. And so when it comes to things like good audio quality, good video quality, where you might see us fidgeting around even during the show, we just can't leave things alone,
I did it already. My camera went out. I was like,
I know it, and sometimes we do that and we mess stuff up. So so that's one thing I definitely see. We have a similar sense of humor. I think usually we get each other's jokes.
For sure.
I think another thing I think is similar is I've always been open to positive and constructive feedback, and I think you're open to that. I know I give you feedback all the time, and sometimes I say, I know you're going to do whatever you want to do, but I'm just going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you stuff that you.
Alicia says, can she come talk? You're going to have to stay in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't let Ginger come on right now. It's like, we'll do a whole nother show where we'll have the wives on or something.
For real. I'll just let you stay in there for now. You'll be all right. When you're talking about the feedback and stuff like that, I cherish all the feedback you give me. You know what I mean? I can, even if I'm thinking about not listening to the feedback, I not listening. I mean, not acting on it or whatever. I always listen and like really think about what I'm doing when I'm making decisions and yeah, for sure. I value your opinion a lot.
Yeah, and in that same vein, I mean, likewise, there are things, we haven't even gotten, and we're probably not even going to get to talking that much about the radio station and all that stuff. A little bit, maybe near the end, but you've gotten so into it now. You've taken it to like another level, and you've taught me some things. And gone way beyond in certain areas that I have where I'm like, okay, well, you know how to do it. Okay, well, good. You do it. That's your thing, man. You don't bother me with that. And
And that's the beauty of it because you got me to this point. I know I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit. But I'm the owner of TTT Radio Network, but I wouldn't be the owner if you didn't found it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he is the founder. I am the owner, and everything that I know about internet radio, streaming, it all came from this guy. I was,
Yeah. Well, that was part of the plan. I mean, we were planning for this for a long time, and a lot of things in 2022 and 2023 started to come to fruition in terms of what we're doing, including what we're doing now. I mean, we've been wanting to do this kind of stuff for, I don't know how long now, but we always talk about it. So,
I mean, from the very beginning, because the radio was started, not even a year before we met.
Right. Well, that's right. My original goal was to just do a podcast, and I still want to, and I still have that as a goal. That's really what I wanted to do. Just a couple of different podcasts. And then I stumbled on the idea of radio, and I thought, wow, I can actually do that. Oh, let me try it. And I think at the time, all I had was like I had one little interface and one mic. Remember that? And I brought it.
I actually thought I had it close by. I was in a.
Yeah, yeah. I brought it to Connecticut because you and I we met about 3 months after we first contacted each other.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this part, but before we actually met, I met the whole family.
You met my whole family. They went nuts.
They went nuts, but they were very excited because I'm the first male in our generation. I'm the first boy cousin. All my cousins are female.
There's Kobe. Now, is he a different generation?
Well, that's a different generation. That would be a different generation. I'm talking about your brothers and sisters' children. So, big shout out to Brittany, big shout out to Ebony, big shout out to Sam, big shout out to Pasha, big shout out to Lindsay. All of us, all the women, super strong women too, by the way. And I'm the first boy, so everybody was super excited. Sam is my homegirl, my light skin and my shine bright partner. But yeah. I met everyone before you.
Yeah, so when we met in October, I was up and visiting Connecticut, and we hung out quite a bit. So the cover picture actually, I think I can actually even show that picture. This picture that was on the cover.
Yeah.
This was an actual picture of us
that first time.
One of our first get-togethers that week that I was up in Connecticut, right? Yep. But you and I did a show. I guess I went on and I was gonna do a show, and I said, "Oh, why don't you come over and visit me at the hotel?" Yep. I had my portable rig, and you came over. We had one mic, and we were passing the mic back and forth to each other, and right. And were you there when I was doing the show? And I was going to end the show. I think you were there, weren't you?
I was there.
Yeah, I was trying to sound all professional, radio-like and everything, trying to impress you, I think. And I was sitting in this chair, and I had my leg all jacked up in a weird position. and I said something like, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the show.
DJ Professor
I'm
Lee.
DJ. I said I'm DJ Professor Lee because just as I said it, I straightened my leg out and I got a Charlie horse right in the middle of my closing statement.
Oh my goodness! And he
So
sounded
if you,
like a horse. He was like,
DJ Professor Lee, and so Pierre never lets me live that one down. So
I actually hit you with it yesterday.
you did. Oh man. Oh, so
one thing that we don't really talk about is when when I found out about the radio station. Obviously I'm already a DJ. My dad started a radio station. I wanted to be a part of it immediately, and not immediately, but it was something that I immediately was interested in, and I didn't know if I had the right stuff to be able to do it. I just remember that time period with wanting to do radio and not trying to hawk you about it. You know what I mean? Because that the beginning of our relationship, it was a lot of like, kind of like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to seem like I want something, or things like that, because that's, what does he want? You know what I mean? It could be that type of. There are people who find people who are related to them, and they're just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And I definitely didn't want to come across like that, but it was something that I was really, really interested in, and I'm glad that I think back about that time and being so eager to start and seeing where we're at now with our relationship and with TTT Radio Network, and it really blows my mind, man.
Right.
It blows my mind.
Right.
What do we got up here?
Well, I was going to ask you because that kind of leads into what thoughts do you have for people who may be hesitant? I mean, maybe they were like you. They wondered, you know what I mean? Like I wondered. I mean, I wonder what's on my father's side of the family. Like what happened? And I actually have a whole story about what happened. And some of it I could actually write a little book,
Right. We should write a book.
Yeah. But about what happened on the Lowry side of the family and what happened to his mother. I mean, unbelievable. The stories that. So what would you say to people who are hesitant about doing this kind of thing, like the ancestry? Because there are people who will do the ancestry part. They'll actually sign up and they'll start to do the research.
Right.
And then, but they won't do the DNA thing because they're concerned that maybe they'll meet, maybe they don't want to know of certain things about the past. What are your thoughts on
that? I think that's normal. I think they should be hesitant. It's huge. It's very emotional. Positive and negative outcomes are very emotional. I say go into it hoping for the best and prepare for the worst. I know that's super cliche to say, but it's the truth, because this is a positive story. I've met people through this last 5 years. I've met so many people who have different experiences with these type of companies, and they're not all positive. I've met someone who found out that their dad was not their dad. You're going on trying to see like who you are or where you come from, like what parts of the world that your DNA comes from, and you find out that your dad is not your dad. So I say be hesitant, or be just know that it's going to change. It changed my life for the better. It could also change your life for the better, but you have to look at both sides. It could be a good thing and a bad thing. So that's what I would say. Just be prepared for whatever comes.
Yeah. And just a pause for a second here. Some people are having a hard time figuring out how to get into the chat, but you do have to go to the main page of the TTT Radio Network fan page if you're on Facebook to engage in the chat, and you should be able to find it there. But also you can search for me on YouTube, DJ Professor Lee on YouTube. I'm over there. You can also go to my personal page and you can chat with me there as well. So if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you can just go to my main Facebook page and you can chat with us.
I noticed that they're asking for video on the app. And what's up, Lady Nixie? What's up, Slink? And to be honest with you guys, it was just too much for me to try to get the video going. We got so much going on right now.
Yeah.
I didn't want to add another stream. My camera already cut out on me. I had to switch. But what's up, Brett? Yeah. There's no video on the app right now. Just
I gave half a thought to do the video on the app, but of this show we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, but we're only doing it. We're streaming to the fan page. We're streaming to my page. We're streaming to the radio, and we're streaming to my YouTube page, and that's pretty much it. So, let's see. Yeah, I agree with you, by the way, about people just going slow. Just take it slow, and be prepared for things not to work out, and be prepared to just check off the boxes and then move on with your life.
Right. So. And space, man, space. If you do find somebody that you're looking for on there, give them space. If it's hard for you or emotional for you, it's going to be emotional for them. And just be considerate of the other party too, because if it's something that you really want, you don't want to scare them off. You really don't.
Right. And listen, anybody who we're getting towards the end of the time that we want to spend doing this. And if anybody has any questions about Ancestry and what else we discovered, and you want to know more, you can reach out to either one of us, and we're more than happy. We're excited to talk to you about that stuff. But I wanted to close out by you telling us a little bit about what all we got going on. You own the radio station now. I mean, I transferred it over to you.
It's even more than that.
Yeah, it's even more than that. But did your dad go anywhere? A lot of people are like, "Oh man, he's what? What? It's not I thought TTT Radio Net was Lee Lowry. What? Tell him, boy."
No. Yes, I own the radio station, but my dad is, a huge mentor. He is there every time I call, even before I text. He'll pick up the phone, and he is right there mentoring me, giving me, advice. Yeah, he's literally there. He's still. Sometimes I ask him, like, I thought you backed out.
Well, it's like I'm at the age and the point in my life where I want to do things that I want to do.
Exactly. You don't want to be, and who else better to be taking care of this stuff than me?
Right.
You know what I
mean? And so while it's all fun for me, I knew that it could be bigger. I knew that there was a lot more. And you and I talked about it. I said, it's called TTT Radio Network for a reason. It's not the TTT radio station. It's the TTT Radio Network.
So that leads into the next thing, because he didn't go anywhere. He's literally sitting back and watching me and helping me do all the things that we talked about in the very beginning when he said, "Hey, if this is something that you want to be a part of, you're more than welcome to be a part of it. Or if you want to start being a part of it and then start your own radio station, I will help you do that. Anything that you want to do, I will be here to help you." And I said, I'm in it for the long haul. This is something that I want to grow with you. And, I knew that it was going to get to a point where I would be doing it on my own. You know what I mean? Most of the heavy lifting, because he did all the heavy lifting in the beginning to even get me here to this point. So he's sitting back and watching all the things that we're doing. He just mentioned about how TTT Radio Network was exactly that, a network and not just a radio station. Because now when you open TTT Radio Network, you're going to have multiple radio stations. So I don't just own the radio station. I actually own 3 of them. Actually, technically it's like 5, but right. 3 that you guys know about. And we're even more than that. We added video. We have video embedded into our app. That is our platform from TTT Video Network. We turned TTT Radio Network into video. It's like that still blows my mind. Like we do video. I have a whole video TV network.
Yeah.
And then also something that I'm super excited about is being able to provide people with their radio stations.
Right.
We are a radio station provider.
Yeah, radio hosting.
Yes, we do radio hosting. So if you're thinking about starting your own radio station, we're the people to talk to. We're super affordable. We're not gonna get into pricing or anything like that, but we try to make it affordable. We're DJs, so
And the thing is, if I can just jump in for that, the thing is, we're teachers. We we know that a lot of people don't know how to do this stuff, and we can get into the geekiness of it, and we can talk for 2 hours just geeking out with all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure Alicia and Ginger are listening to what we're talking about, and they're getting an education, but they have no idea what we're talking about. But we explain everything. We walk you through it. So if it's something you ever wanted to, and I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you ever thought, wow, I have a hobby and I'd like to have a podcast, give us a call. We'll help you figure it out. You can do it on your own. We'll help you figure it out. If you do something with us, that's great. But if not, that's fine. Any of our DJs will tell you we've been completely, free sharing the information that we have. So we want to continue to do that.
There have been a couple guys who have hit me up about their radio station, about starting their own radio station. And I start talking and going on and letting them know what they need and how we can get started. And I always give them the option to come on board as a DJ to learn.
Yep.
Maybe starting a radio station is maybe biting off a little too much that we can chew. And being a DJ or a host on one of our stations is a great way to get started. So
yeah. So Pierre, we got about a little less than 10 minutes left. How about we let people ask any questions? If anybody, and you can use the chat here, and
I'll monitor all the chats. I got the chat open on All Around Hits. I got the Facebook chat open. So if you guys got any questions, I'm sure Alicia wanted to come in here and talk. I'm sure she could come.
Alicia. We're gonna do a whole survivors.
Survivors, Alicia, right? Just DJ Professor Lee and Alicia.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things I want to do is I want to do a.
It says commenting has been turned off on this post. At the bottom on Facebook, it says that. I see that.
On Facebook?
Yeah, it says
did we break it or something?
I don't know. Last message was 15 minutes ago. So I'm not sure.
Okay, well, maybe that's some kind of a limitation that we ran into. I don't know. That's kind of weird, but
yeah. Let's see if you guys can
destinations. Okay. Well, that's okay. We're pretty much at the end of the time now anyway. So that's something I'll have to look into. See, there's always something that you find out. So
yeah.
But listen, folks, Pierre, thank you for agreeing to do this. You've kind of reminded me that we should do this, that we hadn't done it in a while. We did 2 of these before.
Right.
And so this is our 3rd one. And yeah, I guess we're pretty much, unless there's anything you want to say.
No, I think that's it. I'm sorry about the comments, y'all. We just realized that. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Yeah, let me just go back here to one thing. Okay, everybody. So have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. We're close to the weekend. Enjoy your weekend. We wanted to keep this under an hour, and I think we did it. And we will leave it up so that people can watch it after if they're interested in watching it. And we'll see you either on the radio or on the Facebook or on the TikTok or whatever. I mean, I know we didn't even talk about that because that's a whole nother conversation, but
I know.
Got a whole lot of other stuff going on. So hasta la vista, baby. Let me put some music on. Let's end this with some music. What do you think? Some like my kind of hip hop. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see what that is. What's that? That's elevator music. Peace out, guys.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.